What is your dream team? It's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are at Virat Kohli visualizing successes. And before we dump into Virat Kohli visualizing his greatness, like I'm visualizing 2023 to be the greatest year that I've had thus far, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got? King Kohli.
In what ways would you say you're an aggressive batsman?
Well, I've always liked to take control of the situation. I've always been a kind of a player who would walk into a situation and turn the situation towards in the favor of my team. And that's why I think I'm an aggressive batsman, because a lot of people, they would go in and they would be wary of the situation, whether they want to attack or not. My game is totally counter-attack. My game is, if I look at spaces in the field, I think of the fact that I can score runs here and I don't feel like I might get out. So you have two ways of approaching your skill. Either you give in to the opposition's plans and their mind games, or you believe in yourself and say, everyone's looking at this as a pressure situation, but I look at it as an opportunity. So I go in with that mindset, and 8 out of 10 times it happens in a way that I'm able to counterattack.
And explain the role that...
I absolutely love that, because you get into a mindset where, like, you don't want to make mistakes, like pressure in the situation. You're like, I have so much pressure on me, like I've got to hit this, I've got to make this a good hit. You start thinking about what happens if you fail. You start thinking about possible failure. Where Kohli's like, no, I go in and I look at it as an opportunity. I see all these open spaces they're giving me, and I'm like, I'm gonna knock this ball out of here. You know what I'm saying? So he only goes in there thinking about all the possibilities of success and everywhere that he can hit the ball, but never that he's gonna fail, or he's gonna not hit the ball, or it's gonna hit the wicket behind him, and it probably, like he says, 8 out of 10 times or 2 out of 10 times he probably fails in that situation, but he never goes into the situation thinking of possible failure.
Mindset, and 8 out of 10 times it happens in a way that I'm able to counterattack.
And explain the role that angles play.
Angles play a huge role in terms of batsmanship as well. Sometimes you have to. So basically, what we have in cricket is we have the batting crease, which is a line, which traditionally you stand either side of the line, and that's the normal setup of a batsman. But sometimes if you play in England, the ball swings, it moves around. When the bowler bowls the ball. So in baseball, you don't have the ball moving around so much, but in cricket, you have a lot of variation with the ball, where the ball has a seam stitched to it. So when it pitches on the surface, it can go either way. It swings in the air because of the conditions, because of the shine on the ball. So there's so many variables that you need to counter. And batting is about a split second of a decision. If I make the wrong decision, I sit outside and I clap all day. So the precision of that split second has to be so good, and you have to keep countering it and keep being in the right mindset every ball of the game, every second of the game. It's tiring at the end of the day as well, mentally. But to counter those kind of things, if you stand in your normal sort of traditional position, you have more chances of getting out. So sometimes you cut angles in a way that you stand in a different place to make the bowler do something different. So those are the things that work really well in your favor in cricket.
How does visualization...
I definitely understand that. That definitely makes sense. And the fact that he definitely, he understands the game down to a T. He understands every aspect of the game and knows, hey, this is about trying to make the bowler do something different. I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm transferring this pressure to the bowler, so I'm standing in a different position. I know what I'm saying, and make him bowl the ball differently than he normally would, and then knock that ball out the park. But when you got so many different variables and so many different factors, as the weather that day, the wind's blowing, know what I'm saying? You got the seam where you can make the ball curve as you hit it, and as a batter, you got a split second. You have to make that decision like that.
Different. So those are the things that work really well in your favor in cricket.
How does visualization help with that?
It is everything for me.
How so?
So if you're going to play an overseas tour, say to Australia or England or something like that, I literally sat down 2-3 months before, and I've made a decision in my head that I'm going to take their best bowler on. And when I train in the gym, when I'm practicing, regularly there are visuals running in my head, me dominating that bowler. When I train, I have music on, I'm putting myself in a situation where that guy is bringing the heat onto me and I'm countering that, and that becomes such a reality in your head. And invariably, when I went into that situation, I ended up dominating that guy in their own home conditions.
And what specifically are you seeing when you're visualizing it?
I'm actually seeing smashing that bowler all over the field. So I actually feel that emotion in my heart, and I can feel that this is going to happen. And you tune your head or you tune your mind in a way that it's so convincing in your mind that when you're in that situation, your body just takes over because it's already registered in your mind. And when that happens, you feel like, wow, man, this is so powerful. Because if something looks difficult, and if you don't convince yourself to go out there and achieve the opposite, you're never going to be able to do it. You can't just land in a place and say, I'll see what happens. That way, your chances of succeeding become very, very low.
Your first year in the IPL, you're playing with some of the best players in the world. Your coach, Raj Kumar, said that your shortcoming was overconfidence. How so?
It was. I lost my way. I drifted quite a bit. And eventually, I had the worst season I could have, and I had discipline issues, and I actually lost my way pretty badly. I just saw this whole frenzy and this attention on me, and suddenly playing with the biggest stars in the world, and they make you feel welcome, they make you feel friendly, and you feel like, I'm the man, I'm everything, and I can do anything I want. So, yeah, I did lose my way, and again, he pulled me up, he called me, he's like, you need to get your act right. And
Is that what he said specifically?
Yeah, he said, I've heard things, and you need to be careful, you need to stay away from all this stuff that's been happening.
And what was the stuff?
I can feel that. That to have I guess that's better than having a lack of confidence. I would say that's better than having the shortcoming of a lack of confidence. But overconfidence, he said, you're meeting all these famous people, these celebrities, you're meeting all these amazing players as well. And you start, everybody telling you you're the man, you start believing that you're the man. And so that you can get away with things. Well, I don't have to go work out today. You know what I'm saying? I'm already great. I can go ahead and eat this. Know what I'm saying? So you start falling out of your discipline. You start falling out of your habits that got you to the point that you were at. And now, know what I'm saying? Coach is like, hey, bro, like, you got to get it together, because what you're doing is, you know what I'm saying? You're falling out of these habits, and you're about to fall out the team. So, yeah, I definitely understand.
To stay away from all this stuff that's been happening.
And what was the stuff?
Just being distracted, just partying, just not that focused, not focusing on my training, my diet, nothing. My graphs just kept going down. And I didn't realize it. I was like, I got so carried away just wanting to be around these people and doing, anything just to be socially accepted and, just to be part of groups and wanting to hang out with cool people and stuff like that. And then after that, I realized that I was heading into a totally wrong direction.
In what ways do you think you struggled at times handling hecklers?
Well, I've had many instances where I lost my cool with people who would sort of poke me or urge me to, lose my temper.
Like what would get to you the most?
I think the stuff that would get to me the most was bad sledging. Like if someone... So sledging, I don't know if you know about sledging. Sledging is basically when you're playing on the field and people say nasty things to you just so you can get out and make you lose your focus. Yeah. So when those kind of nasty things happen, I just lost my cool completely. And people would get personal as well. A lot of the time they would get personal.
Wow. And these are other players?
Other
or
players
spectators?
from other countries. Okay. And I would
like
totally
what would they say?
They would say stuff which was, oh, this is the last time he's going to ever play for his country, and this is it, and you're never going to see his face again, and those kind of nasty things. And he felt like, yes, you want to get someone out, but you can't snatch someone's life away from them by saying stuff like that. It's if a young guy comes in and he actually believes in it, you could destroy his whole life. I can understand people lose their temper and they fight against each other, they swear at each other, but you don't wish that someone never comes back to play the sport that they've loved playing since they were kids. So those kind of things would rile me up, and then the crowd plays a big role as well. The crowd riled me up as well a few times. And one time I flicked a finger. I flicked the middle finger at the crowd as well, and it was so funny in Australia. I had enough of the crowd coming at me every time, and I would hear stuff which was so nasty, and I was like, man, this is so bad. And I never thought this is going to be the case playing cricket at the highest level. So I flicked the middle finger, and then next day I come in, the match referee, the guy who's in charge of the code of conduct,
He gave you a pass.
he called me into the office and he said, so what happened yesterday? And I said, nothing. What happened? He said, what happened at the boundary line yesterday? I said, nothing happened. It was all good. The crowd was saying some things and I just went on with it. I didn't say anything. And then boom, he drops this newspaper in front of me. I have a 14, 15 inch long picture of myself on the front page of an Australian newspaper with my middle finger right up there, and it wasn't even blood. And
You have to know that kind of. It's too many cameras around to think that they wouldn't catch it. You have to know that they caught it. Well, you know what I'm saying? People. Sometimes when people buy tickets to the game and you're the opposing player and he's, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the best to ever play the game. So of course they're definitely gonna come at him with everything they got. But sometimes they can get a little too personal. I feel like there is a line in the sand. I feel like that you just don't cross. And I feel like so many fans feel like just because they bought a ticket to the game that they're able to cross that line. And I'm not talking about like Australia. I'm talking about like fans like around the world. Feel like they're able to cross that line, and it's just like, come on, like I know what I'm saying. I understand you're rooting against me. You want me to fail in this moment, but at the end of the day, like I'm still a human being. I'm still a person, and for you to attack me personally, to say anything about my family or anything like that, then like that's a line that doesn't need to be crossed.
with my middle finger right up there, and it wasn't even blood. And immediately I said, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I immediately accepted as I'm so sorry. Please don't ban me. I will never do this again. So he took half of my match fees away, and then he warned me, and then he was like, you should be careful, you're young, you don't want to spoil your career. But I kept learning with my mistakes.
Why did an Australian newspaper call you the Donald Trump of world sport?
What?
Yeah, a lot of nasty things happened back in the day. I think both sides were quite naive. I was quite naive to lose my temper. You know, they were quite naive to form a judgment so quickly, and we always think that our side of the story is right. So that's exactly what happened in that situation. They really took it to the next level, and I was like, well, it is what it is, and I've called it upon myself.
Why'd your mom give you a locket and gold chain to help with your temper?
Well, it's something, it's a sea pearl stone, which is supposed to be calming, and people in India believe in wearing a lot of stones, and it has a scientific meaning to it as well, because of the elements of the stone and the magnetic field around us, and how it impacts certain characteristics in us as well. So she gave me one saying, this is going to help you with your temper. I don't know to what extent it helped me, to be honest, but yeah, the effort was certainly there, but I kept losing my temper.
Why do you think you've since had so much success in calming yourself down?
Well, again, you learn. After a while, you feel
Yeah.
like you really don't have any competition. It's just all made up in your own head, and at the end of the day, you're just competing with yourself. So my main focus now is to not disappoint myself first as a person, and then impact the people immediately who are connected to me immediately. So they see if I have a downfall, and things will become negative around me. So I become more aware of my mistakes. I become more aware of if I mess up at any time, I need to be the first one to correct it, rather than someone having to come and say you're going down the wrong direction. So I think acceptance and awareness has certainly changed my life.
I like that. Yeah, you definitely have to be self-aware and start understanding, and that kind of stuff. Like you said, that kind of stuff. It comes with experience. It comes with understanding. When in the beginning you're naive, big time, and as you continue to play, you continue to lead, you continue to get heckled, you continue to be in front of this crowd. You start understanding this is how it is at this level of cricket. This is how it is to be one of the best playing the game. Like, this is how I'm going to be treated, and you just have to understand. Although they may be saying personal things, like they're only saying it because they want their team to win. They want you to fail so their team can win. Like I said, still, I believe there needs to be a line in the sand, but as a player, you just have to learn to take it in stride. That's all we got. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon and drop it in the comment section. It's your boy Neal. Out.